This is Support is Sexy, episode 227. Be your authentic self. Welcome to Support is Sexy. I'm your host, Elaine Fluker, entrepreneur, author, and founder of Chic Rebellion Media. 5 days a week, Monday through Friday, I interview inspiring women entrepreneurs who share their wins and their lessons to help you take your business and your life to the next level and create something sexy. Here we go. Hi, everyone. Welcome to a new episode of Support is Sexy. I'm excited to have you here. You know, it just would not be the same without you. And today I wanted to talk to you about, actually share with you a few conversations that I've been having this week with women, wonderful women who are going to be guests on the podcast. So look out for those episodes coming up soon. But it was interesting, a theme that kept coming up about being your authentic self, and what that means to each of us is different. Authentic, of course, meaning being true to yourself, being who you really are. But I guess the way we express that is different for each of us, right? But the conversations that I had with the women this past week, it just was interesting to hear how sometimes being your authentic self doesn't work for everyone, which is something that we all know, right? Intuitively, you know that sometimes it's just not going to work for everybody when you really start being yourself as opposed to being who people think you're supposed to be or who people say you should be. And by people, this isn't just friends or even strangers. This could be people like family, parents, people who are close to you, who you would hope would understand once you start being who you really are. And one of the guests I spoke to, Andrea Barica, she actually talked about being her representative for so many years, or sending her representative for so many years, as opposed to her authentic self, which I thought was so interesting how, especially when we're younger, we're kind of being, usually most of us, being who we think we're supposed to be. And then you sort of come into your own and discover, oh, that actually is just a representative of who everyone else thinks I should be. This is who I really am. So I wanted to share with you, one, the idea of making sure that you're being true to yourself, being authentic about who you really are, but then being okay with, or even just knowing that sometimes you may lose some people along the way. When you start to come into your own, or if you start to do something different than what everyone has always known you to do. I know a lot of entrepreneurs that I've spoken to talk about this, especially when you start taking classes or doing personal development work or getting around some different people. Sometimes there may be people in your life who don't necessarily like that for whatever reason, which isn't really your concern. But for whatever reason, it's a change. Some folks aren't good with change. And if they see you doing a lot of changes and different things and being about something different that might be quote unquote weird or foreign to them, they might not be able to come along for the journey. And as I said in a previous episode a while ago, everybody can't come. You can love them, even love them from a distance, but maybe they can't come on this journey, and that's okay. It needs to be okay for them, and definitely needs to be okay for you, because you are up to something, and in that journey, you want to be able to be your authentic self and to be in spaces that allow you to do that. That's another thing that was discussed this week, this idea of sharing information or educating people around us as much as possible about who we really are, but then making sure that we feel safe and comfortable and nourished and supported, of course, within these spaces. And if you don't feel like that, you need to make a change, because you want to be in a space where you can truly be your authentic self. And the last thing I'll say about that, as a lot of women have shared on the podcast, and I've even shared before, the journey of entrepreneurship can sometimes be lonely. And it's interesting that it's women who are multimillionaires and who have huge businesses, and women who are just starting out or in the early stages. It seems that along the journey, there are periods where it's sort of lonely because of, well, for a lot of reasons. I won't project what those reasons are, but it can be lonely. Not sad, but lonely. Even if the times when I think about myself, if you're recording late at night, or you're trying to get something done, or you're working on a launch, and there are moments where, of course, you have team and support and people there, but there are other moments, even if it's when you're just thinking about it, it can feel lonely. What you have to make sure that you do as you're becoming or being your authentic self is know that there is a tribe out there for you. There are people out there, even if they're not your besties, there are people out there who understand what you're going through. We certainly do at Support is Sexy. It's one of the reasons that I started the Support is Sexy Mastermind on Facebook, a private group that you can all join, supportissexymastermind.com. But whether it's that group or a meetup or some other group that you get around where you make sure you are supported and you feel like you have your tribe of people who understand you, who allow you to be yourself, who give you a safe place to be yourself, and who understand the things that you're going through or the challenges, and they can offer support, advice, anything that you need to be able to continue on the journey that you're on. Because if you don't have that, there may be a part of you that just wants to quit, and it won't be quit because something's wrong with what you're doing or anything like that. You will want to quit because you don't have the support that you need. So find your tribe. Your tribe is out there. Again, it might not be people who are in your circle currently, and that's okay. It might be another kind of group, something online, an organization you can join. There are a lot of options for you to find your tribe, but your tribe is out there. Find your tribe. Be your authentic self. All right. So thank you all so much for listening. As always, you know, you can go to supportissexypodcast.com to see other great interviews with women entrepreneurs from all around the world. So excited about all the guests that we have coming up as well. I know you're going to love it. Supportissexypodcast.com. Make sure also that you are subscribed to the podcast so that you don't miss an episode. So wherever you're listening, make sure you subscribe. And if you love the podcast, I would love for you to go on iTunes or Apple Podcasts, as it's called, and leave me a review. A 5-star review is fantastic, but any review is always appreciated. Main thing, though, is to make sure that you're subscribed to the podcast. It really helps me, and it really helps the show. All right. So thank you again so much for listening. I appreciate you. And now you know what to do. Go out there and create something sexy. And I'll talk to you soon. Take care.